Good morning. Yeah, like I literally just woke up, so still have like froggy morning voice and all types of whatever. I haven't even brushed my teeth. So I was thinking about how you should never be ashamed of like who you are, right? And reasons behind that vary for various reasons. But I really want to be, I wish I could be the last person that would ever experience insecurity. It is one of the most useless feelings. I'm going to grab another deck really quickly. Just give me a moment. I'm going to keep talking. So it's one of the most useless feelings that you could ever experience. Okay. The only thing that insecurity allows or offers is the opportunity for scarcity, which is the upside of it. I'm trying to be optimistic. Insecurity and scarcity go hand in hand because when you feel a scarcity of anything, then you're automatically also feeling a insecurity in yourself. I'm not going to have this. There's a panic button that automatically gets pushed. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Jessica Jones. She's a Marvel character. And she's really interesting to me. Just Jessica in general is interesting to me because I personally feel like as a private investigator or as somebody who has to look into heinous, gory crimes, there is going to be this. She's a raging drunk, by the way. Raging drunk. So, being a raging drunk, she is one of the best PIs that has ever been, I suppose. Yeah, and I guess her specialty is with people who actually do have abilities. See the black cat. Just a little caveat on all of that. I just said that when I was getting this bag, actually, that when I was getting this bag, feeling insecure is one of the most uncomfortable ways to feel. This was a reading I did for myself yesterday. That was more or less the point, though. So I just wanted to say it's erroneous. To feel like you don't have what you need is erroneous. I feel like you can outthink, outsmart, out-survive most situations if you have the open-minded ability to do so. Some people don't see opportunities that are just going to be manifested out of thin air. Once you have the ability to grab the opportunity from thin air, 411, by the way, I just said that because Ophelia was like creeping on me. She was creeping up. Then you have the opportunity to change the scenario around you, right? So when we think about this idea of Jessica Jones, sorry, I feel uncomfortable, so I have to address every once in a while. She's very mischievous. And I want us to think about the word mischievous for a moment. For a moment, okay? When you miss somebody or you think about them often, that is exactly the opposite of what you do with a gun. right? With a gun, if you miss somebody, it means you did not hit them. You did not. You intended on it. That was your target, and you missed. So when we think about the word mischievous, it's like the chi, the energy, right? Of both polar, every polar point in between these two opposite points, the chi, X and I, the things that are there for real and the things that we actually witness. That is what is happening when we are vying for attention. We all want to be the apple of somebody's eye, or the spark, a little twinkle in somebody's eye. Okay, I get it. However, that is something that you can only see in the people, places, and things that are your bloodline. So the blessing and the curse come together, right? When we think about lacking something, when we think about Harry, Henry, Pete, and Paul, right? It's like, I'm talking about standard deviations from the norm within society. It's a Simjaza situation that we've now assimilated to. The assimilation is with the Sims. It is with the Matrix. It is with this programmed zeros, ones, because that's what we are. We're either women who are receptacles like a zero, or we're ones like men with phallic. And that's where the fire comes from, the flame. This is number 4 with a mask on, because it's necessary to keep some things sacred. What Jessica Jones is investigating is a man, Musgrave, the smell of the grave. I guess I'm telling some secrets I probably shouldn't, but at the same time, I'm not under contract. So I can finally express these things. I don't know if you've ever read Grave Justice. The name of the author eludes me at this moment. However, there's a peekaboo moment happening. Grave Justice. It's about people figuring out, it's a murder mystery. So if you've ever, Murder, She Wrote, there's a, Murder, She Wrote, there's a actual series that my mom and I used to watch together when I was a little girl called Murder, She Wrote. And that is like the little girl inside of me kind of like, oh, that's interesting to investigate. Do you understand what I'm saying? That there's a, you can't teach people how to be kind. You can't teach people how to be cruel. It's got to be innately part of who they are in the first place. So once we've established that, then we can talk about ions, right? The natural state of the world, as it were. I'm going to bring this reading over here so you can see it. We've got the mask over the bloodline. And then we've also got number 6 and number 6. The mask is ready to come off because enough humans are effectively on demon time, as it were, that it's all right. Yeah. Over half of you are ready. which I actually am taken aback by, a little bit shocked, kind of flattered. This is the World card. So the world is ready, receptive, opened, and available for love. And that's exactly what was needed, I feel, vibrationally. Yeah, this is at the bottom of the deck. So there's now cohesion. This is not a couple, but it is the king and the queen. So you know how in some countries they've got their patriarchy, so like they've got a king and a queen. That's the dominant force here. It's kind of like in Thailand, they have a king and a queen. Dominant force. They run the hearts, the minds, and the liberty of the people, quite literally. The government is the woman, which when you really break down the word government, it means G, you are the OVE, emergency responding to the mint factory. This is a little bit Willy Wonka, but at the same time, not really. This is the ability of women. This is empowering women. This is empowering men to keep the pace, to be steadfast, to be consistent. That's all women really want from you. You will find the woman you want as soon as you become consistent. And this is women's ability to roll with the punches. Oh my God. Bottom of the deck. I wish this camera was like a tiny bit wider. This is the bloodline that women are juggling. This is the bottom, also the bottom of the deck. I've already removed, I just took this one off the top and number 1 popped out. This is still 6. I'm still just, wow, I didn't even notice this. So this is number 1 and so is this. So I'm telling you that these are not the same, like they're not a couple, but this is the bloodline of passion is here. That's men. That's a masculine energy. This is the bloodline of women. As if those, I didn't even know that was going to come out. So as if the two genders were in some way originally separate. Like when we think about Wonder Woman, right? And this idea of like an entire planet, just Venus, full of only women. And men are from Mars. This is that energy. It's women are from Venus. We hold on to the branches. We are the lifeline. We are the blood, sweat, and tears that go into the branches of our own tree. Its roots, its leaves, its offshoots, its new growth, its flowers, the buds that make the flowers. That's who we are. Who men are. The mask just got knocked off. I don't know if you just saw that, but I just told you I was going to take the mask off. So I'm going to put this across the mask because I feel like both cylinders are firing right now, right? The flame. This is the face of the flame. I do want you to notice this it's a very feathered look. Kind of emitting off the card. It does not have a number. It is one of the major arcana. And only has really 2 colors, like 2 major colors. Obviously, there's shades of different reds in here, but I'm just trying to point out that things are not always black and white when it comes to the world. Okay? My cat just, I don't know if you heard that, but she just messed some stuff up over there. What are you doing, Ophelia? What are you doing? Oh. She's on top of one of my book towers, trying to jump over to the other. I love you. All right. Oh, and then I didn't notice this either, but Oya, number 3, is here. Oh, that's why she's up there. You see a foot? I do want to say that in this moment, I'm very proud to be a representative of Mother Earth, because there's so much I want to share, and I feel like the entities that have aligned themselves with that vibrational energy have literally traveled across time, space, through many different light years of very thick material in order to get here and share this with you. And if I am the channel in order to do that, I am very thankful and excited. What can you tell us, please, about this energy? And then I will close this reading. Because it's time to manifest. There's going to be, this is a very heavy load to bear. It is not a burden. It is a blessing that is quite large. So in the same way that when you go to the grocery store, if you are going to make a large purchase, you must bring your own bags. That is what I'm hearing right here. The burden basket is not supposed to be in the reverse. In this case, you're supposed to bring it with you. Yeah, there's not going to be anybody else with you. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to carry it by yourself. It's an individualistic endowment. Hello. Of everything you wanted for yourself ever. Right? So I can't tell you my secret. That's why I'm kind of very particularly stating my words. Is because there's my purchase and then there's your purchase, and they're going to be different. So when I tell you, I've met people that have put, I'll tell you about myself. Okay. When I survived cancer. Hello, Ophelia. Yes, I did feel that. I got a tattoo. It doesn't matter where it is or what it is. It matters that I just went and did something that I was never courageous enough, never had been encouraged to try before. And that was something that was very much more circumstantially motivated. I was kind of young and also not quite sure how I felt about religion yet. I've also seen people who've gotten tattoos on the back of their neck, and I don't know, it's always been one of those situations. It's been a situation where, I'm sorry, my Ophelia is chasing a fly, and I find it hilarious for no reason. Oh, it's a piece of fuzz. She's going to pluck it out of the air and eat it. The mask fell off the mask. the mask now has space in it. You know how sometimes when you're, well, sometimes I don't really run religiously anymore. I'm not very consistent about it. However, when I did, I found the mask so irritating during COVID-19 because I could not breathe. And I don't know how, I don't know, basketball players, and I don't know how y'all did that. It's like having, a grease trap, or like an oil. You know how you take gauze and siphon something out, like you can kind of purify it or refine it through the gauze. It's like butter or margarine. It was like breathing through a different viscosity of society, which was really interesting. You can remember people from here up, but you have to have a really great facial recognition system or something very distinctive about your face or your voice or your eyes. Maybe your hair is always in the same. You would never, you know what I'm saying? Like if your identity was attached to only, and there are people who've already been living like that. So there was no difference. You know Abu from Aladdin? It's kind of how it made us feel, is like we were fools. We don't understand what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I think I did a reading already about the bone, the spinal fluid, the blood, and the nervous system that run through your neck. So when I'm talking about ions and the central point of an atom being void, it's like a blank vector. If you've ever read Dante's Inferno by Dan Brown, it's like a void. It's a vector that is available to be, it's a petri dish, more or less, that just sits there and waits to be filled. Waits to be fulfilled. That's this energy right here. Came out quite naturally and quite literally in this way. Why are they dangerous? Because you can create whatever you want. Whatever you like. I think Rihanna sings, "You can have whatever you like," and T.I. does. It's just live your life and whatever you like. The cohesion of the two. So it's a thing. There's thing one and thing two, and this is what it is. We are the things. Did you hear that with an S? We are the things that possess this time and space. You should stop being so obsessed with who's possessed and who's a demon and who's a witch and who's a warlock and don't worry about the identity of one another. That's why you have a human identity, is to cover who you really are. Is anybody actually honest with each other when we go outside? Because it's, how are you doing? Good. How are you doing? Good. It is your mask. Take it off. It is time for you to come into union with this knowing this Gnosticism, this ability to elevate, if you've never heard Elamine Naked, that's coming to mind right now. It's realizing who your inner child is. It's understanding that she's got many different faces. She is Jessica Jones. She is, all these heroines that embrace every portion of who you are. It has nothing to do with the minute details. So when you feel like a failure, you're actually winning. And when you feel like you're winning, you could be failing to other people, but you're still winning, because when you're failing, you're winning. Okay? Yeah. You hold on to yourself. You give yourself a big hug. An aggressive big hug. An aggressive big hug. Like, really get in there, Don't hold back. Why would you hold back from yourself? Like, that's rude. Yeah, there's a King of Swords. Just saying. So anyway, all I'm trying to say, when you find the lighthouse that leads you to your wealth of information, your wealth of happiness, of joy, of bliss, of euphoria, get in there. And then crawl back out whenever you want to. And your hair can be all over your head. Who cares? It can look cray, okay? Like this is on some serious stuff, but your brain is underneath your hair. So this hair-brained idea, not so far apart, if you understand what I'm saying. Your cerebral understanding and your ability to be neuroplastic or changeable is perhaps one of the only and most important attributes of life. And so if that's something that you can pass forward or pay forward to future generations, maybe you won't seem so harebrained in the first place. Yeah, it's like gray aliens who just found a land or a planet or a world inside of your head. So if we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, this was a vision I actually had the other night, which was semi-terrifying, but also very intriguing to a scorpionic energy such as myself. I'm going to use the mother deck because I am a mother of a Scorpio. And this vision that I had the other day was that the bright people on this planet are being used similarly to that fish in Finding Nemo. But we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and they're like using this fish that is luminescent naturally to show them the way, to illuminate what's in front of them. So if any like three-headed dogs or mermaids that are pissed off, or anything that is going to attack is going to hit that thing first. Yup, this is the Fool, the 0 point. This is being on the front line. And it's because you're intelligent. Like, they're putting the most intelligent people on the front line. That doesn't make sense. It's like putting women and children on the front line. Why would you put your greatest assets out there? This is why you need the mask. This is why you need the mask. And why there are only a few people who can keep their chill, disconnect from the outside world, and keep their cool for long enough to actually discern the way. And I'm not saying that anybody is brighter than anybody else. I am just saying these are the infrastructures behind, right? This I told you, when you find the place where you can retrieve water, where you can then rise up, I don't care if it's on the third day or whatever, you can get out of that and go, like I just said, LMI, this is the Naked song. She's standing there naked in her natural form because she must. Because other women are going to do so in the future. And as soon as the form that she is becomes obsolete and she's put out there, dangled like a carrot, like some type of bait, she dies. So she's just gonna bear it all. This is knowing who you are inside and out. I'm a fool, but only for love. So when people say I shouldn't love myself, that's crazy. That right there is questionable. You know? In my mind. Yeah, this is the 9 of discs, which is happiness. You will not take my happiness in order to give to yourself. That is not the energy of a giver. A giver will hand you happiness willingly because we have that to give. But if you did not ever approach with the energy of receiving, even if you ask me 1,000 times, I cannot give it to you. Only my bloodline will receive my, it's 3209, blessings, because I know where my water is. I have a wealth of information to express, but I now have the mischievous ability. Because when you think about, you missed in terms of the energy that was vying with the United States, with us, mischievously. There's a reason that Simba was in the circle of life. There's a reason why there's a simulation called the Matrix. There's a reason why there's a bell curve that monkeys were compared to. A standard deviation. What standard anything? This is the 6 of Cups. Do you see these horsemen being released? There's 6 of them. As above, so below. I already spoke about trees being the only entity, really, that stays rooted both in the ground and the sky at the same time. Right, Annabelle dolls? So this is, I mean, if it's on wood, are crosses made out of wood? And if we're going to think about all the people who took a moment to contribute to anything, including like all the people who had to make the plastic to mold into this specific form so I could comb and brush my hair. We're going to think about all the people that put effort into making the cross that Jesus was crucified upon. Was that a tree? And damn, this is really bad. Do trees know where their source of water is? In the dirt? Yeah. I did flip this. It did come out in the reverse. However, what I'm trying to show you is the duality that exists everywhere. So once you understand that, there's no longer hatred towards this as above, so below, and what is a grounding force? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Is it a tree? Are we now in Fern Gully? Perhaps. That's a question that only we can answer. There are seas of water, like there's an entire ocean of water, but there's also an entire ocean of debt. There's also an entire ocean of extremely damaged people that really need some help. There are people who have extraordinary skills who are either getting older and being discounted, too young for you to give credit to, or you consider them crazy for voicing their opinions. And that is the witch trial that I am vehemently against. Let it be a harebrained idea or whatever. 36:18 as I said that. I think my work here is done. Well, for right now.